All right, everyone. We are here with Castro as well as John Sarabia, of course. And we're here to talk about one of our rockstar clients, Cass. And he was able to close about 7 to 8 accounts since he signed up for our program. And Cass, man, just let's start off with just maybe a quick intro about who you are, where you're from. If you have any kind of other full-time job besides this, and also kind of what got you into merchant services.
Yeah, man. So my name is Castro. I am in law enforcement. I live in Louisiana in the New Orleans metro area. So I work for the department out here. I'm a sergeant and I work in a special victims section. So we handle, like rapes and stuff like that. And have like 5 or 6 people under me. So anyway, I'll be going 17 years this year. And I got into this because scrolling through Instagram one day, I happened to see Paul Alex on there. I think maybe a buddy of mine followed him. So I clicked on his page and started seeing all the ATM stuff, man. So the ATM stuff, and I started getting into that. I go down a rabbit hole, clicking on all that stuff. I even went through the 15-minute call, and so I was thinking about going that route first. And then I thought about it. I was like, oh man, I don't see myself lugging around a 200-300 pound ATM, and I don't have a truck. I was like, I have to hunt somebody down with a truck, and then get somebody else to install it with the drill and all that. And what threw me off really is me being in law enforcement. Was the When I talked to the guy, he was like, yeah, so put a down payment in, you'd have to wire it. And I was like, oh, this is a scam. I'm not wiring anything to anybody because I had a buddy of mine that he ended up we are supposed to all go on vacation together, and he wired some money to a guy and lost all our money. It was like $200 a person. So
Mhm.
I was like, it's a scam. There's no way. I'm not doing it. So then I
Yeah.
was doing my research and all on YouTube, with the ATMs, and then I see the credit card processor machines. And I was like, man, that'd be awesome to get into. Unbeknownst to me, Paul also has that. And I happened to see that on Paul one day after about 2 weeks of just watching ATM stuff. I click on Paul's link. I was like, this dude's been having a merchant automation this whole time. I could have been started this. So that's how I did the call. I got into it, and I joined. I think after the first consultation call, there was the follow up call. I think 45 minute, 60-minute call, and that's how I got into merchant automation. That was about mid November, and by the time Thanksgiving holidays and all that started, by the time I got my package and actually hit the streets, it was the beginning of December. I'm gonna say,
Mm. Got it.
yeah.
Okay. So beginning of December, and we're just entering March here. So, I mean that's really it's been about what about three months and a handful of weeks, and you already got 7 or 8 accounts signed up, huh?
Yeah, man, it's been a struggle. We had Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, and then down here in New Orleans area, there's Mardi Gras. So that's like another 2 weeks of vacation. Owners being gone on vacation, owners, just dealing with a lot going on because
Mhm.
either people love Mardi Gras and they're down here, like streets get shut down and everything. So they're either down here getting drunk for 2 weeks and shit face, or they're leaving and going on vacation to get away from this.
Yeah.
So add a weeks of Mardi Gras to that, so that really backed me up, and with the having trouble at first with the businesses and getting people
Yeah.
signed.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's go into it, man. Just talk through maybe let's start with the first one. Like, how did you kind of come across the merchant, and then what was maybe kind of your approach when you're walking into the location, and whereas how did you strike up that conversation?
So the first one was actually my barber, and I told him about it when I was getting into it, and he was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." And I didn't really mess with him too much often after that. I think I had maybe 1 or 3 leads for merchant automation that I didn't get. So then I was like, "Man, what am I? I can't get a lead." I was like, my barber, I kind of left him alone because it's just him by himself. So it's a very small account. So I was like, you know what? One day I just walked in, I get my hair cut from him like on Saturdays. And I said, hey, man, when are we going to sign you up? Are you ready to sign up? Let's go. And he was like, yeah, I mean, what does it do again? And I told him, explained him the process. You can start taking cards because he didn't take cards. He just took cash or Zelle or Cash App, the basic barber hairstylist
Mhm.
deal. And so I explained it to him. Hey, you'll be able to take this. It's just a $10 a month. And he was like, yeah, next time you come in midweek and sign me up. So bam, came in and made midweek. And I remember I started filling out the app. I think I reached out to the group and Messenger and I was like, hey guys, what do I do? So should I be on the phone while I'm doing this application? I think I talked to Jordan actually when I did it, and I was telling him, "Hey, what about for the equipment? What do I have to put exactly? Is anything I'm missing?" And
Yeah,
it worked out great. They were
that's
great.
awesome. So that seemed like somebody you already had a relationship with. So it seemed pretty effortless. Didn't seem like there was a lot of like objections.
Yeah. That was easy. That was easy.
Yeah.
He all the time. Now, actually, yesterday I saw him and he was calling all kinds of owners. He was like, "Man, we're gonna get some people signed up because I offered him a referral bonus." I'm like, "Hey, man, you give me a some customers that signed up with me. I give you some
Yeah.
money, give you a little cut."
Smart.
He was
Yeah,
like, "All right."
yeah.
He started calling up some people. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's smart. Okay, let's talk about maybe you have an example, maybe a merchant that you approached that definitely had a lot more hesitation, concerns, questions, objections. Maybe talk through that.
yeah. So let me see because my last handful have been very easy. I've just gone over there like first meeting, first thing, sign them up. So it would probably
So I'm curious about that before we move on to the harder ones. Like, why were they so easy? Were they people that you already knew really well, had existing relationships, or?
no. Okay, so my let me see. So there was one. So the tax man, I had my tax man. I've been going to him for a while. That was pretty cool. He called me on Saturday, and so did the other guys. So no, so there was. Let me see. There is okay. So there's one restaurant. It took me probably about 10 to 15 visits with him. All right, so that would be one. He was probably my second or third time. So
Mhm.
this guy actually, John, my first call meeting with John, it was I scheduled the interview with him, like for a proposal just to go down with him. So this guy, he's couple businesses close to my barbershop. So I kind of knew him already, but not that much, right? Like associates basically. Um, anyway, I scheduled my first meeting with John, Zoom meeting, and it happened to be during the same time the meeting with him. So I talked to him. I put John on the phone. Hey, look, this is my expert. And he's like, oh, hey. And they're talking, and we prepared him a proposal with John for Clover. I think within a week or two later, he looked at it and he was like, yeah, man, this is around December. So he's
Mhm.
like, yeah, we have this we have right now, and I just ordered a toast. It's still in the box against the wall right there. Never opened. The guy never came by and installed it. Never heard from the guy ever again. So he's like, this I got a little screen right now, paying like $40 a month, doing nothing. Anyway, we get him the proposal for Clover, and he says, man, I think we're just gonna wait till after Christmas, at the New Year's, get our taxes stuff together. We don't want to get into anything new right now. So
Mhm.
okay. All right, so we get past that. I kept going by, kept because it's a small restaurant, so kept stopping by, getting some food, some lunch here and there. Every time I got my hair cut, I'd stop and, hey man, how you doing? How's business? How's it going? Just like John shows in this training. Don't even talk about the the product, the terminal, anything. And eventually, man, I just got in the mindset that I was like, you know what, man, I'm just gonna go in there. I'm going to show him something else, like the Valor. It was a VP 500, right? Because it's got a little menu, like POS. I'm like, I'm just going to go in there and be like, you know what? Let's get you with this. Let's get you started with this. $10 a month. I'll waive it for you. So boom, I go in. I said, I grabbed some lunch. When I grabbed some lunch, I was like, hey man, let me when you get a minute, come talk to me. I want to show you something. So I show him. because I have an iPad Pro that I bought for the business, and I have everything on there. I have YouTube video links for all the terminals that we use ready to go, just for in case the client wants to see it. So I show him the Valerie P500. I said, look, this has got a small menu, like light menu. It's very simple to use. All the stuff it can do, right? And I said, let's get you started on this. I'll waive the fee for you. And then we can try it out for 30 days. If you don't like it, we can send it back. But I think you're gonna love it because you're gonna have all this stuff. He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm good with anything. He's like, my employees, I'm worried about, because they're not too good at computer stuff. And he's like, this looks very simple. Yeah, man, let's get started. And he signed up right there on the spot.
Nice.
So that's wow.
Yeah.
And like crazy, man.
Yeah. So your approach over at the summarize your approach, and you seems like you're very much a relationship kind of guy, right? You like to develop relationships naturally, organically, not by pressuring people into signing up right now, right then, but just by simply just showing your face, saying hi, and just being around them for a certain amount of time. When you do actually bring up the actual product, it's like, yeah, I'll just sign up right here because there's not much resistance. They're already familiar with you, and there's like some kind of trust or rapport already built. Any advice to, let's say, well, actually, that's one other thing. So, what would you say has been maybe the hardest merchant in terms of signing that person up, and what was maybe some of those objections they were throwing at you?
The hardest merchant. Let me see. Actually, I don't know if this was the hardest, but that was probably the hardest. Actually, really, just
Okay.
having it. But the big account that I have, this is actually a pretty cool story. And this lady's an amazing person. She's an immigrant, and she came in as an immigrant, and now she's expanded. Like, now she owns real estate. Now she doesn't even know how to work a computer really. So I'm taking care of her and helping her with that. But she owns 6 taco trucks, about to be. She owns a taco stand in close to my job, and she's opening a restaurant in 2 weeks, close to my house here. So she's gonna be a total of I have her on 4 so far. I still have to add 2 more taco trucks and the businesses that she's opening up. So this lady, how I got in touch with her is I went to go eat at the taco stand while I was working my regular job. So I go up to the girl to pay for my food. I'm like, hey, is the owner here? And she's like, no, but I can give you her number if you want. Right? That never happens. They always say, leave your number when you go to these businesses, and we'll get in touch, or they'll reach out to you if they're interested. Never happens. So she gives me her number. I go back to the office. I eat my food. I call her up, and I'm like, hey, my name is such and such, and I this is what I do. I'm looking to save you some money, eliminate your fees. And she's like, oh yes, I'm so happy you called. He was like, I'm in a fight right now with Chase and this other guy, and I don't like the way they're treating me. I feel like they're taking some money out of my account, and I'm like, all right, great. She's like, let's call me up next week and we'll schedule something, and that way we can we can meet up next week. I said, okay, sure thing. Have a good night. So I pass her and it's another thing. This lady's only Spanish, so that was another plus. I'm bilingual. So anyway, I sent a business card and everything through text. I get no answer, no nothing. So I'm like, okay. I was like, hopefully it wasn't just the owner trying to be nice, trying to get me off the phone, right? Because that happens too. They just, yeah, okay, sounds great, and then you never hear from them again. So, all right. So next week comes around. This is Monday. So this by my over the weekend, I had also made 2 other connections, and I was going into Monday saying, oh man, this is gonna be a great week. I got 3 people lined up. It's gonna go great, right? So Monday comes around. I call her Monday morning. No answer. I'm like, so I call back again. No, it goes to voicemail. So I think I shot her a text. And I said, hey, this is such and such. Trying to make an appointment with you. No answer. I'm like, here we go. Right. So the other 2 fall through as well. One guy was a pretty good account. He hasn't completely left, but he said, oh, not at this time. We're with QuickBooks right now, and the girl just learned how to use the system, but it's not a no. He's like, let's stay in touch, and we'll talk later. So I'm like, okay. So, but that was a downer. I was expecting to sign that guy. So the next one, it was something else. They fall through. They're like, hey, yeah, we're not interested at this time. So all three of my deals this week, it's like gone. So by Tuesday, I'm like down here, right? I'm like, everything fell through. This is a shitty week. So I think here we are Thursday, right? On the way home, this lady, I've called her the next day. I've called her like Tuesday, Wednesday, left voicemails, the text, nothing, no answer, no call back. I'm like, damn, man, what happened, right? So third way home, I call her and I'm like, you know what? I'm in my head. I'm telling myself in my head, I was like, what's the worst that can happen, right? She's gonna pick up the phone and tell me stop calling her. I was like, let me call her again. I'm not gonna give up. So I call her and I remember it because I'm close to the Superdome, right? You guys know the Superdome where the New Orleans Saints play, passing the New Orleans Superdome up on the interstate. And I call, she answers the phone, and I'm like, oh, and I'm like, hey, this is such and such. And she's like, oh yeah, she's like, you coming to drop the terminals off, right? And I'm like, no, that's somebody else. She's like, oh, I thought you were the other guy that sold me the machines. And I'm like, no, I talked to you last week to schedule a meeting up with you. And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. She was like, you're right. She was like, oh man, you're too late. She's like, I just ordered these machines and I got a couple in and now whatever. I'm like, no, I'm this guy and look, and I could do this. And she's like, well, she's like, these guys are giving me problems, and I'm really pissed off with them, with Chase and with this guy, and I got two of the machines, and I'm waiting on two more, and I'm like, look, I can solve all your problems right now. I was like, look, just give me a chance. Let's meet up. Look, I can eliminate your fees. I'm your local guy. I will install, deliver everything for you. Just everything I could think of. I just jumped in, right, cut her off, and she's like, okay. I was like that. She's like, yeah, that sounds good. She's like, let's meet up when tomorrow or Saturday, and you don't want to wait. You don't want to wait. You don't want to wait. I like not gonna Saturday, and then by tomorrow she's already changed her mind and going back to this guy, right? So I'm like, tomorrow, let's go tomorrow. I was like, well, actually today, what you got? And she's like, I can't today. I got some meetings, but tomorrow. I said, all right, tomorrow at 1:30, let's do it. And she's like, all right, tomorrow at 1:30. So boom, we scheduled the meeting. Um, Here comes Friday at 1:30. I think I reached out to John. John was actually going on vacation. I shoot John. I think I called or text John. Yeah, I called him. John says, hey, text me. I'm on vacation or something or driving. And I text John. I said, look, this is what I got. I got the lady here and blah, 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 blah. She's mad at the guy. And John's like, well, sounds like you got it, buddy. All right.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting on her, right? And so by this time, I think this is the first time I did it, but I've taken this manifestation thing and this mindset, and I had it in me the whole time from the day before. I'm like, I'm gonna sign this lady. When I see this lady, I'm not taking any no's, and I'm gonna sign her. And there's no way around. I'm not letting her go, right? So here she comes. Here comes 30, right? I'm there. She doesn't show up. So I'm like, damn. So I give her about 5-10 minutes. I call her, no answer. I'm like, So I go to the taco stand. I tell the ladies, hey, can you call? Is the owner here? And they're like, no, she's not here. I'm like, can you give her a call? Just let her know. She's like, hey, we had a meeting for 1:30. So okay, the girl goes off and she comes back. She's like, yeah, she didn't answer, man. I don't know. So I'm like, so I go back in the car. I give it to about 1:45. I'm waiting in the car, text, nothing, man. So I'm like, damn. I was like, she I was like, man, she set me up. She just blew me off, right? So I get in the car, I'm pulling off, man. I'm like down halfway down the street and she calls. She's like, hey, I'm so sorry. She's like, my phone was on vibrate. I had a meeting earlier since 10 a.m. and I put my phone on vibrate. I have like 20 something missed calls. She's like, I'm so sorry. She's like, I'm right here around the corner at my house. Let me wash my feet off and I'll be there in 10 minutes. I'm like, all right, sounds great. I'll be there in 10 minutes too. So since I live around the corner, I just go run home, grab a drink, come back. Sure enough, she shows up. She shows up and she tells me come in her big Ford F-250 truck. I get in the truck. We start talking business, and I tell her all we could do. And she tells me, she's like, yeah, this is what's going on with these guys. And they're telling me I got this much, but only this much is showing up in the statement. she starts telling me all her problems, and I tell her, look, we can solve all this, and she's agreeing with me. She's like, man, it's all sounds good. It sounds good. And then I can see her, because we talked from about probably 2:05 to probably about 4:40, because I even had an appointment for 4:30 to leave,
Wow.
and I missed because building rapport with her. And because we would talk about business and then we would talk about personal and then back and forth, back and forth. So jumping back and forth with her, and she's just telling me all this and tells me her story. And I said, so I can start to sense that she's like, oh, well, yeah, all this sounds good. And, I'm going to think about it. So when she says I think about it, immediately in my head, I'm thinking, here's that common objection. Let me think about it, right? When you
Mhm.
and they go and you never hear from them again, right? Until you got to keep pushing them. So immediately I start thinking of all the training, with John and the YouTube training I've been watching with salesmen and stuff. And I'm like, no, you got to close them. The people are ready to close. They have a sign, right? And she had that sign. When people are ready to be closed, it's your job to close them, not, oh, okay. I could have agreed with her and let her go. And it's immediately in my head, I was like, I gotta close it. This is time to close. So I cut her off. I'm like, no, no, no. She was like, look, I was like, I'm gonna take care of you. Like, you can trust in me. I'm gonna install this machine. I'm gonna show you how it works. I'm gonna show all your employees how to work. Um, let's do this. Let's try one. Let's sign you up for one, right? Because she has all these businesses. I said, let's sign you up for one, and then you're gonna see how you're gonna fall in love with my product and my service, and then you're gonna want the rest of it, right? So let's start off with one. I'll gain your trust like that. And what does she say? She says, yeah, let's do it, let's go. Signs right there on the spot, man. And I was like, in my head, I'm going crazy right now. I'm like, good, it really worked. I actually closed her. I was like you too. I was like, man, I was going crazy. So yeah, got her terminal in, and as soon as I installed that one, it was like a brand new close again, because I installed that one in the truck here, and then so in my head, I'm already thinking, all right, how am I gonna get three more with her, right? I installed the first one. I showed her how to do it. Showed the employees how to do it. She loved that because most of her employees are Spanish.
Mm.
Don't really know how to work the computer. Showed them how to get their tips out and close the batch. So with the Valor VO100. So I show her that, and as soon as we get out the truck, she was kind of rushing. She was like, "Yeah, I got a meeting. People are blowing her phone up." She's like, "Yeah, I gotta go run on this one." So I'm thinking already in my head. I'm like, I gotta close her again for these three more. So as soon as I walk out, I'm like, "Look," I was like, she had a Clover Flex. And I tell her, I was like, "Wow, you were using a Clover Flex." I was like, they're charging you a software fee and you don't need this, because she just wants to accept payments, right? She doesn't want menu. She doesn't want inventory. So you paying all the software fees for Clover for nothing. So I was like, look, whoever sold you these machines, they shouldn't have sold you these machines. All you need is accept payment. I was like, you need to get rid of this. So I was like, send these back, because she had already told me. She was like, I got to the end of the month to send these machines back and get my money back. So I tell her, I was like, look, send these machines back. Let's order you three more machines, and I'm gonna come install them just like I just did. And she was like, you know what? She was like, yeah, order me three more. She's like, I really love what you just did and how you set everything up. These guys, they just send me the equipment and they just leave, and then we're just here, and hopefully we can install it. She's like, I really love what you did installing. Ordered three more, and yeah, whenever I was like, okay. I said, I'll cover your machines for you. She's like, no, 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 I'll buy my own machines. I'm like, no, I got them. And I was like, I said, you know what, let's make a deal. The next time you want to order more, I said, you can get them, but let me cover these. And she was like, all right, sounds great. And now, it's an awesome relationship. The lady tells me, she's like, look, anytime you want food, anytime you're hungry, you call me and you tell me, and call the truck, and I will get them to make you food, because you're not going to be paying for food and doing this for me. She's like, whenever you want food, you call me and I got you. So it's
That's awesome, man. Amazing story. That a lot of ups and downs, like a roller coaster, but that,
yeah,
that was good. That was good.
Yeah, he hit a lot of key points that, sometimes the deal is ready, and they're not just gonna say sign me up. Sometimes they're gonna say, let me think about it. But it's time for you to close it at that time. And that's when
Yeah.
Kaz was like, you know what? It's now or never. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if I let her go now, she's gonna
Yeah.
disappear on me.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
Exactly. Cool, man. Well, that was an epic story. And let's end here. Well, actually, before we end here, actually, let's go with this. Is there anything like, so if somebody's watching this video right now and let's say they're just getting their feet wet, right? Trying to close their first deal still, maybe don't know as many people as you do, maybe not as sociable, maybe a little bit more, I don't know, introverted or anxious about talking to merchants. Any piece of advice, any kind of wisdom, anything you want to drop for them that might help them out?
Yeah, man. I just gotta say, I would say, go to all the trainings, attend John's trainings. A lot of tidbits I got from him. But also you got to put in your own work. You have to, do your research. Do your research on your at least the most important terminals that we use, like the Valors and the Clovers, Deja Vu. At least get to know those. Follow some rich, millionaire, billionaire entrepreneurs that are in sales.
Yeah.
They'll introduce you to, sales and closing and all that, and the objections, the common objections. It's in every it's the same objections no matter what the sale is. Basically is what it is. Oh, I need some time to think about it. Let me talk to my wife. Let me talk to my partners. I'm just busy right now. Come back later. The same common objections. um so just do your research, definitely read some books on sales. If you don't like to read, like me, I hate to read. It's not so much that I hate to read, I just get ADD and I can't focus for too long. My mind just wanders. Audible books is awesome. I listen to it on the way to work and from work to the gym, and it's great. Going to sleep. So just start getting the books, watch some YouTube videos on top of John's training, and you have to be resilient. Stay resilient. Remember, if you don't quit, if you don't quit, you don't fail. I mean, if you can't, you don't fail if you can't quit. I mean, you
Yeah.
don't quit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. John, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, that's the key thing is like once, um you're gonna when you start the program, you gotta read, you gotta go through the program, you gotta go to the lives, and then what I tell people is go out there and talk to 10 to 20 business owners before you ask for the leads from the merchant automation team. That way you've practiced the objections that are gonna come at you and you'll be prepared for the objections. Everybody that's successful, they all hit a brick wall when you're like, damn, I can't close anything. And then, but you take a step back and you come back and you keep pushing through. And once you hit, you're like, wow. And I just like last week, Cass was like, man, he put a video on Facebook and he's like, man, I just broke through. He just kept pushing and he broke through. Once you break through like that, the rest are easy.
Yeah. Big time.
It's just getting over that hill, just getting over that first hill that is
Hmm.
hard. But once you get over it, boom, the rest is easy. And after a while, just like anything, people have to understand you have to learn a process. If we're gonna say, hey, we're gonna go run a marathon in 3 months, and we're gonna give you $50,000 to run it. I'm gonna start running every day to
Yeah.
train. You know what I'm saying? When people start running and they get to that 13th, 14th mile, the halfway point, they want to give up. But if you just keep going, by the 17th mile, you're like, man, I got this. I only got a few more to go. So
Yeah.
same thing with this business and like anything else, you got to be resilient. Like Cass says, be resilient, stick with it, stick with it, stick with it, and then take ownership and be like, man, I'm closing this. I'm closing this and
Yeah.
go after it like that. And yeah, you'll be successful. I mean, look, Cass, he came in from the beginning and he's devoured all the information. He's devoured all the information. We've been on many multiple phone calls, and he's in front of people, just going and going and going. And many times when you think you want to give up, but he just kept pushing through, and now he's successful. Great job. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Cass. This is it's amazing to see your success and to show that, you know, anybody can do it out there.
Yeah, man, for sure. Appreciate it. Appreciate you
Appreciate it,
guys.
Cass. Yeah, a ton of value dropped here. This is going to be very inspirational and also helpful as well. So awesome. We'll get this posted up in the group. And again, thank you for your time.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
All
All
right, we'll
right.
talk to you guys
Take
soon.
care,
Have a
guys.
great weekend.
See ya. Bye.